Has Brennan Lee Mulligan created the perfect blend of Daggerheart, Pathfinder, and Dungeons & Dragons in Critical Role Campaign 4?
Oh, dude, was that a combo move?
Before we dive into how Brennan may have turned these three huge games into a perfect wombo combo of TTRPG goodness, why not take a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help us keep these videos coming? It really does help these videos survive the AI-infested waters of YouTube, and we really do appreciate it. And then, let's talk about Brennan's hybrid system. A lot has been made of Brennan Lee Mulligan's bending the rules for Campaign 4, and while some of that can be waved away as rule of cool style DMing, like how Thimble gets to make her offhand attack and add her ability modifier to the damage despite not really having a way to do that mechanically in D&D, a lot of these changes aren't so much homebrewing as they are Brennan cleverly adapting some of the very best parts of Daggerheart and Pathfinder into the D&D rule system, with one major exception that we will get into in just a minute. But first, let's start with how he's taking some of the key components of Daggerheart and finding an incredibly compelling way to make them modular enough to slot into the D&D system he's using for Campaign 4. Now, if you're asking yourself, what kind of Daggerheart is there in Campaign 4? I thought the whole point was that they picked D&D over Daggerheart. While that is true for the overall system, Brennan has seemingly taken the Great Death system from Daggerheart with its Blaze of Glory and Risk It All mechanics, and instead applied them to those dire situations that happen just before death in Campaign 4, with his Desperate Measures rules. Much like the Daggerheart version, they come with some harsh consequences, which can include literally dying to pull off one amazing move, almost exactly like you would see in the Blaze of Glory system of Daggerheart. But Brennan has added tiers to the process, where you can risk 1, 2, or potentially even all 3 of your death saving throws ahead of time to get huge boosts to your attacks or actions at the cost of an increasingly easier or unavoidable death the next time your character goes unconscious. We saw both Laura and Travis try this out, earning 2 and 1 failed death saving throws respectively, which are sticking around at least for the time being, with various degrees of success in episode 10. So basically this is literally all 3 elements of Daggerheart's death system: the power-up of Blaze of Glory, the chance of failure from Risk It All, and the lingering risk of an easier death from Avoid Death, but shifted to the time just before you would potentially go down, instead with this new Brennan version of the D&D homebrew. Although to be fair, you can even take these risks while already unconscious and taking death saving throws as well, so it does even kind of leak into that original dying time frame of Daggerheart. But as we saw in episode 10, it makes for some truly epic moments as characters take huge risks to survive horrifying odds, like Thimble carving over 50 hit points off a CR8 enemy in one activation to help the entire party survive their last encounter. It adds back those stakes that can sometimes be missing in D&D, where death is pretty darn avoidable, and it puts that risk in the hands of the players, which is very much in the Daggerheart vein of things. The Pathfinder influence can be seen in Brennan's use of tiered public skill checks, letting the players know that if you hit a certain number, you will get a certain type of result, but should you exceed or fail by another set amount, often 5 in either direction, something far more beneficial or far more disastrous will be the result. This is at the very core of Pathfinder, especially Pathfinder 2nd Edition and the Remastered Edition, where publicly succeeding by different levels is a key part of not only skill checks, but the entire combat system. You need to actually beat an opponent's armor class or saving throw by 10 to get a critical effect, and likewise if you miss by 10 or more, that triggers a critical fail even if you don't roll a 1. This not only encourages the players to help each other out more for those crucial rolls, it gives those rolls even more stakes, which makes a lot of sense for Critical Role given the issues some fans had with Campaign 3 and its perceived lack of stakes in parts. But now, by making these tiered checks public, you have enough suspense of that will they or won't they succeed. On top of that, you have the new added layer of will they succeed by enough, as well as adding consequences for things beyond simply rolling a nat 1. A lot of which came to the forefront in the episode where they were staking out the Gormalay capital city. And man, we still want to know what was really going on inside that hospital had the rolls just been a tiny bit better, and that's kind of the entire point of Brennan's system. But the final bit of homebrew that Brennan has brought to his hybrid version of D&D 2024 comes from the man himself and his incredible system for leveling up, which he showed off in all its glory in episode 10 of Campaign 4. allowing the characters to choose the exact time and place of their level up to either help them survive combat or hit a big narrative moment for their characters. Given the brutal encounter the party headed into right after qualifying for their level ups, we really only got to see the use it to survive during combat version, but a few of the soldiers, like Teor, have held on to their level up as they look for that perfect narrative moment to pop them in the future. By allowing the players to make that choice, they become extremely invested and engaged in the following social and combat encounters, as they look for that perfect moment to hit the level up. And by additionally allowing them to basically finalize their feat, ability, or spell selection at that moment as well, it really lets them tailor their characters to the campaign they are in and create more unique characters in the process instead of just taking traditional min-max best options ahead of time like so many players do with the standard between session level ups. It's been incredibly fun to watch so far, and you get fun stuff like Wakander taking a tough feat with his level up just to survive, and it seems like a definite improvement on the standard D&D level up process by all metrics. So with those 3 huge changes, and apparently more to come as Brennan keeps revealing more and more of his sort of hybrid system for Campaign 4 as the game keeps progressing, we see how he's managed to combine some original homebrew with some of the best elements of Daggerheart and Pathfinder into this new Critical Role version of D&D 2024. And it really does feel like the best version of Dungeons & Dragons we've seen in a long time, with tons of reasons for the player to stay invested in their characters and the story they're telling in the campaign. And we can't wait to see what other homebrew or system mechanics from other TTRPGs he'll be incorporating into Campaign 4 as this system becomes fully revealed when Critical Role continues in 2026. So what do you think? Are you going to be adopting Brennan's homebrew and borrowed elements into your own D&D campaigns? Let us know down in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.